What's going on, gamers? We got ourselves a brand new setup stuff. Well, we got ourselves a brand new Wooting Alamaze keyboard stuff that's like right here. We got our nice little point system here that we got with our good old slab of aluminium, and they've got these nice little 75-degree angle feet that they put on this thing right now, right? As a thing. And also we got ourselves this brand new coiled cable that they went and got for the devices and such like that. They had them as a bunch of different things, right? This is like a little update stuff what we got here, boys. We got ourselves a brand new mouse mat, as you guys can see right here. Full XXL mouse mat, which is fully a Saturn Pro X Lethal Gaming Gear collaboration, like type of thing that was this here. We got ourselves our L45 switchers in this little case right here. Also the same here on that side of the camera too. As well, to go and show that we placed in all this with these things that are in this little baggie over here, right? You know, fellas, all in this thing. Oh, very nice. Very nice. And yeah, our Logitech mouse, as we're looking right here, we had our good old Tiger Ice grips that are on this mouse right here. They're a little bit banged up. We're going to be switching these out for some core pads, because this mouse pad on its own is super fast, and this wasn't even our first idea of a mouse mat that we were getting. The mouse mat idea that we wanted first for ourselves, boys, was this one over here. This one right here. This is the Artisan Raiden. It's not to be crunkled up or anything else like that, as far as like stretched out or out like that, because like it's a super fast pad and such like that. Like, I played Aimlabs with this thing and tried it with this thing and felt how much like no control I've had over like aiming and shooting, being able to use this like thing that's like right here in front of us. Best way to explain it is this is really plush and is soft. This is the Artisan Raiden in a mid, so like it's very thin. It doesn't stick onto things, but it is nice and durable and doesn't necessarily harm anything. And when you see that glide, that really tells it yourself of knowing how fast this is with our mice. As you see, it goes super fast that it even just falls off of the desk like with ease. And as you can see, that's also like similar as what we see with the mouse mat on its own with the Saturn Pro Lethal Gaming Gear. But it's obviously not as fast as a thing like the Artisan Raiden, because that is a super fast pad. But you might be wondering, then why choose this pad over then using something like this? Well, sometimes speed isn't just everything whenever it comes to doing stuff, because sometimes it's to do with one thing, and that is control. Having been able to move with precise inputs and such like that. We also had glass mouse feet we did on this mouse, and you know, yeah, it's not so great as for so speedy pads like this. You have glass mouse feet, you want a controlled pad, but you know, yes, with something with some speed. Right, this is a great pad, is the Artisan Raiden. We got ourselves all up here, all our little things that we put in here. So we got the good old goodie bag of other springs that were all here back in the day, what we did to go and put in the keycaps and such. Also detachable cable box right there, the Wooting 60HE box right here. Right here is where we have the Alamaze box, which is one of the best things. The little box that came with the L45 switches, you know, very nice box. We got ourselves in here the good old grand take control keycaps. Also, with that being said, we have ourselves the PC plate modding kit thing that was this thing, as well as the old Wooting case that we had this bad boy in here just beforehand and such like that. And yeah, this PC bracket case with this is plastic, but also, right, if you're wondering, we kept this silicone stuff that was here, that was the protection of this, still in this one pad, because there was its own little protection layer bit that came with the Aimlabs kit that was all there. And you know, yeah, this one's really good though as far as being able to do stuff. It's got its own little grip that was to itself on its own, right, fellas? As well as this was the grip that we went and took out of this and such like that, and we have changed it to the silicone grip that is currently sitting inside this keyboard and such like that. We are also going to be getting ourselves, boys, a brand new thing, which will be the Wooting 60HE module, which you can find in their thing right here where they go and show all their other products, and it's like right there in that one drop down. The YouTuber Badseed Tech also went and reviewed and talked about the module, since as he was like the only guy who actually got the thing straight away. As you guys can see, it happened 30 days ago when he went and got it. Also, within collaboration of that, if you go and order one of these Wooting 60HE modules, you get it from Badseed, who you're supporting and such like that, and so it makes it really cheap as well whenever if you want to go grab any of these keys with the keyboard as well as any of the keycaps that are there. So choose PBT, ABS keycaps. I absolutely hate ABS keycaps personally. They just feel like glossy mess, they do. And you can also choose if you want to add in the Wooting Aimlabs case, which are a banger of a case, really good cases. We got ourselves 2 of these cases now, where even today, boys, we went and yesterday we had an O-ring that we put all the way across the board of it, a gummy O-ring, and we squashed it down into the board, and it makes such a nicer key click sounds. Oh, as you guys can probably hear that. Like, the space bar is the most nicest sounding thing with this. But what would be even nicer than this is if the board wasn't metal, as like what everyone said, like with Badseed Tech even talking about it, is changing it with the plastic board that they have. But this is an ISO layout. It's also a original Wooting board that was done last year, so because it was like one of their original, not their first batches, like when like it was the first so-and-so thousands who supported and got it, but it was one of their first batches before they changed everything now, where they've changed the lubing and such like that with all the keys and such, which is props on them with Wooting. But like what I heard from it though, we've seen from Badseed's video, as he went and said, saying that put in the board if it's not a old Wooting batch. So like I don't know how much that is the case or not though, but I managed to get mine in this just perfectly fine. It's just a bit of leeway having to push down the gummy ring through all of the extension across the board, and we're waiting for Wooting to make a choice of it, where they'll probably go ahead and release the other PC plate. That'll probably be an ISO one that they'll go ahead and do, because it makes sense if they do so, because you've got the module, right, that you can go and buy that's in ISO or in an ANSI, and when they're going ahead and making this be the case, they're going to be releasing that board, the module, as the plastic one, and not getting it as a metal one within the board, just so then it makes it all the much better. And the difference is the stabilizers on the module are like screwed in, so essentially there is no rattle or anything with the spacebar, which is good on its own, but you still have to screw in all the board into the case and such like that, as the Gummy O-ring doesn't necessarily work with the 60HE module, as what I am referring back to Badseed going ahead and talking about it with the module.
One big note here is that the Gummy O-ring mount does not work with the new module, because the PCB mount stabs, they block areas in the assembly where that ring would normally be able to recess into the assembly a little bit to make it easier to fit. I could not force this thing to fit in either the Redux or the Aimlabs case. Now the good news is, I don't think you need it, because with the new module and the new stabs, the spacebar here is very good.
So as you hear, that's the thing that's with Badseed's idea of talking about it right there. Allowing us to be able to go ahead and mod this keyboard and such like that will have the ability to allow us to use this keyboard bit still. We got it as a ANSI, so it will be with this PTFE type stock one, right, boys? Like, technically speaking, we could have got it as a ISO, and then we could have just swapped them out technically, because then we would have had a plastic one of these and then be able to keep it in this niceness to it. But yeah, wanted to go and say that within this we went and burger mounted this keyboard we did with the screws, which is just a small little O-ring on top of a screw and then put on with another O-ring. I will link the video up here at the top right hand corner. I don't remember which one, if it's left hand corner here or that right. Pretty sure it's the left hand corner. We have also the coiled cable version that they went and put into this too, for all you nerds who like coiled cables, as you guys can clearly see here and here. You know, very nice. We also tend to use sometimes a gaming sleeve, which is this, which is the one that is a SkyPad one, which is basically used with glass pads and such like that. Works really well for anything else other than the glass pads. Basically uses itself as a compression sleeve, so it compresses your arm, basically allowing you to go really fast with movements of anything with your arm at a controlled motion. So then your arm feels tired, yes, but then also allows you to move with such accuracy and precision, so then you can slow down to a stop and not feel like you are flying away with the mouse, if that makes sense to you guys. So boys, that has been our little update video of saying about everything that has been added onto the setup that we have recently gotten ourselves. I hope you have enjoyed all the different things that have all been here with us today, boys, from the L60s to the L45s. We also had the 50 switches ones, which are all these ones that are within here that we went and lubed ourselves. We did, boys, to making ourselves have an even better gaming experience. With the L45s though, I'd personally just leave them as is. There is no point in going ahead and lubing any of those switches that are there, gamers, because it just takes way too much time, way too much effort, way too much other things. And plus, Wooting do it themselves, where they lube them just perfectly fine as it is. Whenever it comes to any of the stuff, because there's standoffs within the little PCB within these being created on the module for the switches and such like that, which is the plate The plate swap is basically comfort it is, because no matter what, whenever you go and put this into the whichever case is there within your Wooting, it will be screwed in with as much pressure or as least pressure as what usually does within factory. So it'll stay the same no matter what you do because of the standoffs that are within the case. I would definitely not recommend not screwing in the so-and-so ones of the standoffs, because you have to make sure to have every single screw put into each standoff, as it allows to keep contact with the PCB and the plates within each of the switches, allowing you to be able to get that rapid trigger and all the little fun features that come within Wooting's utility software, which is also, by the way, guys, web-based, as well as being able to use a device within your computer's programming, but doesn't take all your resources, which companies like Logitech and Razer and anybody could learn from. But it's the small things that count. Boys, I have had a great time talking about all these different things that have been here today, gamers, because it has been a fun time being able to move all these different things, and to then even to go ahead and talk to you guys about these things. Talking about that same subject about the plate swap, we were wanting ourselves to get this changed over with the metal board that is the one that is currently underneath this thing for another plastic board. Currently, I was wanting to get myself one that was from KM's Keyboards, which you can go ahead and get yourselves a 3D printed version of the thing, which is either an ISO or a ANSI layout, so then it allows you to then go ahead and get all those type of things. Apparently it does international shipping to the UK as well, but I've not also seen of being able to get it as far as anything, because I've tried like multiple times to be able to go get the thing myself. I have not been able to do such as of yet. If you guys happen to see that though, please hit me up, like of like trying to at the KM Keyboards of trying to get that one plate swap, because I'm really wanting to switch that over within this, because I love the Aimlabs keyboard and such like that. It's just a little bit hard hitting with like it being metal on aluminium, because you're having to hit a bit more. You hit with more force, you know, you put pressure onto it. Fingers hurt, they do, as you're leaning onto the keys. Yes, you shouldn't, it's not really much thing of like saying of much pressure and tension, but like as you see here, when you're pushing down on like the board, even with this, because it's plastic, as you see, even though it like moves up and then moves down on so-and-so's sides, that doesn't do anything as far as when it's screwed in and has everything stationary and everything else like that. All it does is allows you to, when you're pressing down a key press, with being able that you got slightly nicer feeling like keys, which, you know, don't get me wrong, the L45s are miles of improvements better than of things like the L60s and then even the L50s that I went and stock lubed with this. But, you know, if you're one who was just beforehand where there was no thing like the L45s, like when you'll be in my situation, for instance, because I didn't have the L45s, there was only the 50s that were there as like springs. I made do and just switched them out, and I quite like that so much better with this keyboard, because when I was playing stuff for Fortnite and such like that, it was amazing, you know, like literally is the best keyboard ever. And so I can't go and say any gripes of saying of anything bad about it. There was stuff where I went and watched people like RandomFrankP talking about so-and-so keyboards and such like that, still goes and says that Razer and all those other ones are some great keyboards and such like that. But then he already made the thing talking about the Wooting 60HE. That was a one that he said about a year ago. But that's his type of standard record thing, is he is not going to go and say about anything that is saying of being the best keyboard. So as in, like, because he said about the Wooting a year ago, he's not going to go and refresh and say about it another time today.
I'm going to be telling you guys why I think this is, without a doubt, the best gaming keyboard on the market.
But in still all appearance and agreement, and also in response time, as what is system latency. You know, this is literally the best keyboard that you can get on the market as far as any of those things are involved, because it's that 0.1 millisecond response time and being able to get things as spot on as you want them to. As also as seeing characters like Optimum Tech, where I've gone and seen where he's talked about so-and-so click latency and such like that, where we saw things like the M2K, which is a mouse which is just a mini mouse that you hold in your hand and has a two buttons and a click and a scroll wheel, that even that is the best as far as click latency is measured. There's also all these new things that are going to be showing up and happening, where Finalmouse even made a thing that was called the Xlat, which is their own iteration of being able, the Xlat, which is their own version of being able to go ahead and monitor like all the different features of what your specs of your mouse is required and such like that, without latency of seeing about system stuff, and is quite accurate of saying how to be able to know how many clicks per second each thing does and happens, you know, because all you have to do is take apart the mouse, solder it together, and jobs are good, and just test with settings. And it's all open source too, so I find that like it's really cool to see like a small company such as like Finalmouse, even though it's like on a large scale too, because of the fact that there's been collaborations with people like Ninja and such like that. And there's so much of a degree and a stage where there's people who even complained when they saw stuff like with the Ultralight X having QC issues, that were things that people really did not want to go ahead and see that could be happening at any potential risks to any buyers and such like that, because there is such a high demand whenever it comes to these Finalmouse these days. And talking in that same boat, gamers, we are wanting to get ourselves a Finalmouse, because we have seen so much stuff we've seen about click latency and everything that I've been, whenever I go and see like stuff with tech, I always like research into it, see like what is the best thing that is on the market. I like to see people like Optimum Tech. He is great for going on and showing, like, he went and showed us like the 540 hertz monitor, like, and then also researching about it, and then following people from Asus and such like that, following stuff on Twitter, you know, like where we look to go and see, like, you know, it's just the little things, because you think, like, you search one thing and you think, what is the best this? What is the best that? What is the best this? Because, like, when you get into that whole area of oh, I've tried this now I'll try this. Now I'll try this. You know, it's that whole idea of moving from one thing to another that then allows you to, you know, be able to better your whole experience with things, as well as, like, it's exciting, you know, because there's so many features and so many different categories that you just wouldn't expect on its own, you know. And in the end of the day, it still goes back to the same thing, and that is your internet speed. That's also a category on itself that will be a thing that affects all of your devices, because nothing will be as in comparison to how well all the rest of that stuff goes, because internet is key on its own. Well, boys, I hope you have enjoyed all this rant, all the stuff that we have went on and talked about today, boys. there has been whole bunches of different things. Hopefully I'll get in some good old little video bits showing about showing some Aimlabs, showing you where we are within when we shoot and fire within accuracy within our keyboard and mouse. Also the little things that are with this keyboard and such like that, which are super exciting. And yeah, I hope to see you around for a whole bunch of more stuff that we'll be getting on into within the rest of the year. There is so much more that is so exciting whenever it comes to seeing tech. Just want to be the person who has my own input on things, as far as when we then go and gather some more info, when we'll want to see some more things that will be coming into play, because there's always so much more exciting stuff that goes on and happens. And yeah, it has been really good, boys and everyone and gals. I hope you have enjoyed, and I hope to see you all around next time. Goodbye.